Myth number 4, there are hot lots of vaccines circulating out there with severe side effects. And if you get hit with a hot one, bad news coming. The thing is, no one's ever found a hot one. None have ever been detected by US Food and Drug Administration or Health Canada. Myth number 3. Ooh, this is the one that makes me the maddest. They're not natural, I tell you. They're unnatural. And that's the root of all problems, unnatural things. They're the real cause of autism, sudden infant death syndrome, acute attention deficit disorders, ingrown toenails. The leading lay proponent of this is Jenny McCarthy, who, I forget what year, she was Playmate of the Year. I've got a picture in my mind now, I don't want to go into that. But those of you that remember McCarthyism from the 1950s, the oppressive search for communists in the US that wrecked so many lives and careers. Well, this is very, very similar. It's Jenny McCarthyism. Extensive research, no links found. And the one paper from England that did find a link has been totally discredited and disproved. Unvaccinated children had the same risk for all those diseases, but they're more likely to die of infection because they're not vaccinated. So you can look this up. The Jenny McCarthy body count started on June 3rd, 2007 to April 20th, 2013. Number of preventable illnesses in the United States that happened because of her influence getting people to stop getting their kids vaccinated, over 115,000. Number of preventable deaths, 1,147. Number of autism diagnoses scientifically linked to vaccination, 0. I wouldn't want that on my conscience, to be quite honest. I'm not perhaps as judgmental as you might think, but I do have serious problems with people that have no expertise, that are influential because they are notorious or famous, that use that influence to adversely affect people who don't know the difference. I have a big problem with that. So who you gonna believe here, okay? Who's got the most credibility? I mean, she's smoking. I mean, give me a break. If she doesn't even know that's bad for you, you know, at least I'm not doing anything that's been proved bad for you in moderation. So, there is a backlash. William Cullen Bryant said, "The truth crushed to earth shall rise again," and there are books targeted towards the lay market that do tell the truth. Which brings me to my last, I think it might be my second last. Vaccines are not safe. Serious side effects, other than a mild transient sore arm or something other that trivial thing that doesn't matter, are so rare it's hard to even statistically analyze them. There aren't enough of them to be able to analyze. And myth number 1, my absolute favorite. Well, you get the disease from the vaccine anyway. What do you think I'm doing, verilating you? Like 1,000 years ago? No. But if you believe that, I've got some swampland in Florida. See me after the Café Scientifique and I'll unload it at a fairly decent price. You know, when you're a physician, you see a patient, you have to always be caring and understanding, unless you're Gregory House, who, by the way, would lose his license in about 5 minutes if he really carried on like that. But there are times when people say, well, I don't really believe in vaccines. What do you mean you don't, don't believe in vaccines? I've got some right here, I can show you. Well, I don't believe people should have them, you know, and you get the disease anyway. And I've always wanted to say, well, yes, you do. But why would I take the chance that a moron like you just might by chance catch a disease? I want to make sure you get sick. So I'm going to vaccinate you. It's ludicrous. It's absolutely ludicrous. And these conspiracy theories that drug companies and doctors are conspiring to do harmful things, you can't keep a secret these days. Everything gets out on the internet and everybody knows about it. There is no conspiracy. If more than one person knows about it, everybody knows about it. So it just doesn't happen. Bertrand Russell said the whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, but wise are people full of doubts, which is why you ask a health professional about side effects, they'll hum and haw and say, well, there are a few minor things. You might have a sore arm. 1% of people might have a mild transient fever or something like that. They're not going to say, no, there just aren't any. But people who are activists, who have taken it upon themselves to convince people that they're bad things, they'll tell you that definitely bad things happen, but they don't. So where are we 1,000 years later? Immunization is proved to be the most effective, safest, and cost-efficient means to prevent infectious diseases, and maybe some non-infectious diseases too. There are cancer vaccines that are clinically available, more in development, vaccines for all kinds of diseases that are not thought to be infectious, but as Dr. Heinrich pointed out, may have to do with microbial antigenic stimulation. Who knows? But it will be the key to dealing with drug resistance and some cancers, and I can't wait. So I'm going to allow Penn and Teller, the Las Vegas magicians, who had a television spot debunking myths, to have the last word. Now, how do I start this up? Thank you. We have to go low tech here.
Vaccination causes autism in 1 out of 110 children. Okay, total bull. It doesn't. But let's imagine it does. Welcome to this group gets no vaccinations. Microbes does. I'll use this plexiglass to represent the vaccination. Oh, that's bad. My vaccination will knock 1 of the children out of line. That's our 1 in 110 with autism. In the 1920s, before the diphtheria vaccination was common, there were 13,000 to 15,000 deaths a year from that disease. If you got it, your chances of dying were about 40%. In 1952, just before the Salk vaccine became common, there were about 58,000 cases of polio. If you got unlucky, you might end up permanently disabled or dead. Meningitis, hepatitis A and B, flu, mumps, whooping cough, pneumonia, rotavirus, rubella, smallpox, tetanus, chickenpox. Chickenpox. We have vaccinations against all of them. Which side do you want your child to stay on? So even if vaccination did cause autism, which it doesn't, vaccination would still be bullshit.
Excellent.
I think there was a last slide, but let's just end it there. Thank you very much for your attention.